And let's look at the questions and see what we got. Some of these are repeats. This is 3.2, number 11 slash, no, I'm sorry, number 35 slash 11. 3.2, 35 slash 11. I do not cover Chechnyaz. I don't even cover it. So, I don't even, we can do it together, and that's fine. But there's the formula for Chechnyov's, or whatever his name is. I can't even pronounce it. Say it one more time.
I think it might be like
Chebyshev. Okay. Sounds like some kind of car. Anyway, there it is right there. At least 1 minus 1 over k to the second power times 100. All right, so they give us this problem, and we're just going to do this problem because I'm going to do it with you. This is not a test question. I don't even cover this material. So I'll do it because you need to make a grade. So it says at least at one point, the average price of regular unleaded gasoline was $3.73 per gallon. Assume that the standard deviation price per gallon is 0.08 per gallon and use Chesnyov's inequality to answer the following. Now, you could do this by z-scores, okay? And I wouldn't mind if you did it by z-scores on a test, but I don't give it to you on a test, so you don't have to worry about it. It says, what percentage of gasoline stations had prices within 3 standard deviations? So you're using another form of the z-score. But like I said, 98% of your probability and statistics courses, no matter if you take a 3-level or a 4-level, they're going to use z-score and t-scores. They're not going to use Chesnyov's or whatever. That's just kind of like the rule of range of thumb or whatever, where you take the range and divide it by 4, and that's the rule of thumb standard deviation. It's not as accurate as the actual standard deviation. So you use that formula right there, and you're going to plug and chug, and that's 1 minus 3 because 3 is k. So that would be 1 minus 1/9, which is 8/9, and 8/9 times 100 is 88.9%. So 88.9% is going to be within 3 standard deviations. Now, draw a picture to understand what you're talking about. So we're going to take a handy dandy curve, and we're going to draw, instead of z-scores, the z-scores are still there. We've got 0, 1, 2, 3, our standard deviations, -1, -2, -3. And they want to know, by Chesnyov's, or whatever his name is, they want to know how much is in there. Of course, if you had z-scores, let's do the z-score. Somebody do that. We're going to do them together. So 1, 2, 3. So in this area with a z-score, you would do, let's see, 3. So that would be 3. Let's see, average, yeah. 3 minus 3.73 over 0.08. Somebody do that for me. 3 minus 3.73 divided by 0.08. Somebody tell me what you get.
-9.125.
Yeah. That's going to be way out. Yeah, and that's going to be, and then you look up anything above 2.5 is going to be 0.9999. So what they're saying is that 88.9 is going, is going to be this little yellow area right here. Z-score is going to be a whole lot more detailed. So that's that question. All right, it says what percentage of gasoline stations has price within 1.5 standard deviations of the mean? Well, we know this is equal to the score, so we're going to set that equal to 1.5. Or plug in 1.5, whichever. Let me erase this. And there. Plug in 1.5. So K is 1.5. So you're going to, again, draw the curve. And the only reason I'm drawing the curve is that you can understand what's going on. It's the same thing as Z-score. 1, 2, 3 standard deviations, -1, -2, -3 standard deviations. What did I tell you about the word within? Within means what? Positive and what? Negative. So 1.5, they want to know this area right here. 1.5 standard deviations. I'll just mess that up a little bit. Right there. Plug in chug, it's going to be 55.56. Now you could take your empirical rule, 0.15, 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. And you can add those up, and you can see that even the empirical rule is going to be more. I got 1.5. I messed this up right here. I just suck at drawing today, I guess. There we go. And 1.5 here, be somewhere in there. There, how's that? A little bit better? But still, 34 and 34 is 68. This one's coming up with 55. So you see that checkoff, or whatever his name is, he's not as accurate as 1, the empirical rule, and 2, Z-score. So that's why not a lot of people cover it. And the rule, range of thumb, or whatever, I can't even pronounce it now, range or thumb, rule of thumb, range, or whatever. It's not very accurate either. So I really don't cover a lot of them. And the last one says, what is the minimum percentage? Everybody listen to one of the indicators. Everybody hear it? Run. Girls, run like hell. Anyway, everybody let the indicator come in. All right. So stupid. What is the minimum percentage of gasoline stations that had prices between $3.57 and $3.89? And that's where you're going to have to convert or set equal, just like we would if, whatever. And there is your mu minus 1.5 standard deviations is equal to 3.73 minus 1.5.08. And that's how you do that one. Okay? It says, what is the minimum range? Okay, I'm sorry, that's still C. That's still B. And that's doing the interquartile. So, mu minus 1.5 times the standard deviation. So that's going to be 3.73 minus 1.5 of 0.08. That's the formula right there. So let me highlight the formula for you so you can write it down. There's the formula. Mu minus 1.5 standard deviation. So that's 3.73 and 3.61. These are the prices you're converting. Do you remember me showing you, let me relate it to Z-score. You remember me showing you that Z is equal to X minus X bar over standard deviation? Y'all remember that? And then I showed you that X is equal to Oz plus mu. Okay, well this formula right here is Oz plus mu with the z-score. You're trying to find the price that represents that z-score, or that check-me-off score, whatever, that represents the 55.56. So that's the positive. So I mean, that's one end. Now you got to find the other end. And they're going to ask you for the other end, or they're going to just say it's not going to be positive or negative. And there's the other end. And here you add instead of subtract. One's on one side, one's on the other. And then the last one, there's the answer. So 55% falls within 1.5 standard deviations, which the price for those standard deviations converts to $3.61 and $3.85. Has anybody noticed gas prices lately? What are they? They're down. Why? Because we're not energy what? We're not energy dependent on other nations right now. That's why. And a good test of that, and we're talking about gas prices here, so I can relate it. What happens in the past when something happened in the Middle East? What would gas prices do? Well, something happened in the Middle East about 3 weeks ago. What did gas prices do? They went down. Okay? So, you know, you can enjoy it, because I remember not too long ago, I remember paying $5 a gallon for gas. I remember that. Some of y'all may remember hearing about that. I don't forget what year it was. $5 a gallon. That's awful. Drill, baby, drill. All right. So anyway, next, and this is where you're going to set it equal. And this says to find the minimum percentages of gas between 357 and 389. Then you're going to set equal. Okay. The difference. Okay. To determine the standard deviations, you take the difference between the two, I would assume. And that should be 0.16 cent. And divide that by the standard deviation. So you need to write that down. Take the difference, or the range, of the prices. So this is C. Take the range and divide by the standard deviation. And that gives you two standard deviations. And now you see it all. It helps you to draw this too. So the difference between 3.73 and 3.89 is 16 cents. Thus, blah blah blah. Thus, 3.89 is also 2 standard deviations from the mean. And then you plug that in, and that's going to be 75%. One of the reasons I don't cover rule, they call it rule range of thumb or range of thumb rule or whatever. I don't cover it, and I don't cover this, is because the rule range of thumb or whatever, it's okay. It's real simple. You take the range and divide it by 4. Okay? That's real simple. And I don't mind covering that. But when you get into this and you compare it with z-scores, what's it going to do to the student? It's going to confuse them. And I don't want to confuse you. I don't mind confusing you with t-scores and z-scores in chapter 7, 8, and 9, or wherever it is in this book. Why? Because you're going to see those over and over again in other contexts with a 3rd or 4th level research class. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to see this guy. This is just impress your friends knowledge, okay? This is not going to be used in a 3rd or 4th level research. Your z-scores and your t-scores will be used. So that's why I don't want to spend a lot of time covering it, because when you put it up against z-scores, it's kind of confusing. Even though you use the same process, it's just confusing to students. But I'm not in control of the 120 class, so the person that is puts it in your homework. I just forget to go in and take it out. All right, so that's that one. That's all we're gonna do with Chesnioff, or whatever his name is. So let's see if there's any repeats. Probably is. Nope, number 12, is that the same thing?
I think the other one was 11.
I'm sorry, what?
I think the other one was 11.
Okay, that was 11, okay. Let me see if it's the same thing. All right, let's do this one right quick. I'm just going to compare both of them. Let's go ahead and you use your calculator. If you want to get your laptop out, use it. This is a test question, but not A through Z. I don't do that. But the actual doing the mathematics with this one and this one, that could be a test question, not both of them. Everybody understand? So we're going to do them both, and then I'm going to tell you what it tells us. I'm going to go to StatCrunch. Why? Because it's a whole lot what? It's a whole lot quicker. And there has occurred. That's great. So I'm going to try it one more time. And forget that. We're going to go to Excel. Always depend on Excel. All right, there we go. I'm going to make it bigger where you can write them down. And I'm also going to sort them if they're not sorted. Control X. Control V, and I'm going to sort these, and I'm going to sort these, and let y'all do y'all's thing for a few minutes, make it a little bit bigger. The things I do for y'all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go. I'll make it bolder. There. Somebody's still going to say, I can't see. And guess where they're sitting? In the freaking back of the room. All right, so I'm going to give y'all 4 minutes. Do as much as you can, and then we're going to do all of them. Because I'd say probably 40% of your test is being able to do the mathematics on this problem. So if you can't do it, that means you're what? A disappointment. And you should probably, just quit. Don't worry, because the burn will take care of you. Feel the burn. It's going to be fun to watch Bernie go up against the elite again and see how they cheat him out of another election. I like Bernie because he goes against the grain. I like him as a person, okay? I don't like him as far as the socialism. It never worked, never has worked, never will work. But I do like him as far as him going against the grain. He'll get all he needs to win, and then at the end they'll take super delegates and wipe him out. Anybody want to bet me? I'll shut up.
We've learned not to bet you after the football.
Huh?
We learned not to bet you after the football games.
Oh, I did watch XFL this weekend. I liked it. Anybody watch it?
What is that?
It's pretty good.
What is it?
It's another football league. Better than watching NFL. I ain't watched it in a couple of years. Hell with them. Until they start acting like decent people, I'm not going to fool with them.
What was it asking for? Or just
I'm not worried about that. I don't know what it's going to ask for. It's probably going to ask you to compare the two and about the data and all that stuff, and we're going to go through that after we do it.
So just get to be reading
Mhm.
all of it for all both of them?
Mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, 5-number summary. How many numbers we got? 8? Yeah, go ahead and get a 5-number summary too. And a box plot.
4 minutes.
Yeah. I'll give you a couple extra minutes. That's a lot of work. Just don't do it. Just quit. Don't raise the bar. Don't need to raise the bar. Just quit.
Already there.
Because Bernie will take care of you. I don't know who that was that called. Usually people don't call me. Probably the Russians. I hate when people call and don't leave a message. Must not be very what? Must not be very important. It's probably the lottery telling me I've won $50 million probably. I'll go ahead and start writing everything, putting everything in while y'all are working. Mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. I'll put the 5-number summary right over here. Min, first, second, third, and max. And that's going to be equal to this guy. And that's going to be equal to this guy. And this is going to be equal to this guy. And that's going to be equal to divided by 2. Mean is going to be the summation of all these divided by 8. And that's going to be that color. That's going to be that color. I really don't care about the mode. Range is equal to this guy minus this guy. Variance equals to this guy minus mean F4. Now you may see that I'm not explaining too much of the variance and standard deviation. Why not? Because you have a formula that you need to what? Read. You need to use it. You need to read it. That's the whole point of me giving it to you. X minus X bar. And what do you do with X minus X bar? What do you do with it? Raise it to the second power, Hubert. That's right, class. You suck, class. And then what do you do with that? Add it together. Thank you. That is your numerator for your variance. And what's 8 minus 1? 7. Thank you, class. And what do we do with the variance to get the standard deviation? Take the square root or raise it to the 0.5 power. And there is all that information. Check your numbers, please, to make sure I didn't make a mistake. And the mid-range is equal to this number plus this number divided by 2. Okay, and I don't have a parenthesis. Y'all check my numbers. I don't see a mode, but there may be one in there. Now I'm going to take all that. Oh, I got to do the first number. Okay. Now that 2, I'm going to put a dot where that 2 is. Where's that 2? It's between these two right here, right? So how many numbers are above that blue dot? 4, Hubert. That's right, class. I guess I'll just keep answering for y'all, because y'all ain't going to talk to me, so I guess I'll just keep doing that. Equals parentheses, this number, plus this number, divided by what? 2. And I'm going to highlight those 2 numbers, and we'll highlight those, color them aqua, and that's going to be that. And then these 2 numbers equals parenthesis this number plus this number divided by 2. And that is your 5-number summary, and you should feel good about yourself. So let's use dang old per day there. Okay, now I want you to draw your curve and your box plot. I'm going to copy this, and, well, no, I'm not. I'm going to copy this. There we go. And hit Control-C. And then I'm going to go down here and hit Control-V. And pray that my numbers come out to be correct. But what I'll do is I'll check, and I'll hit auto sum. No, I'm going to hit formula. I'm going to hit formula, more functions, S for standard deviation. I'm checking my math, is what I'm doing. And okay, and that's 0.69, so I'm going to copy that, Control-C.
You didn't put them in order, so it messed
I put both of them in order.
up. Not the bottom.
Yes, I did. I mean, I did. I'm not saying, yes, you're right. I put that second group in order. Damn Russians. Thank you. Maybe I didn't. Hell, I don't know. There. Check that. Now let me do this. Check this. Control-C. Control-V. Okay. Yeah, something's wrong. I've got something wrong. Probably the mean. So let me go through and check this one. Equals summation. Y'all keep working. I'm going to try to figure this out. I've got an error somewhere. I think I know where it is. Divided by 8. Well, just start over because the computer's not cooperating. It's mad at me. Divided by 8. Okay, let me check this. Equals this number minus this number, F4. There it is. There. And that takes care of it. All right, now you should be drawing your curve and your box plot for both, and then we'll look at the numbers. Right now, let's look at the mean, the median, and the mid-range. Let's say 2.3, 1.8, 2.1. I'm sorry, 2.3, 2, and 2.1. And then down here, we've got 7.95, 7.65, and 7.81. So it looks like to me the second group is a little bit tighter as far as data, but standard deviation has a bigger spread. So it looks like to me the tighter data is going to be the first group because the standard deviation is a little bit less than here. Not much, but a little bit less. So the spread is more on the second group. But let's go ahead and I'll draw the curve and put the empirical rule in. I ain't got too many. 0, 1, 2, 3. -1, -2, -3. Yeah, I got one too many. Okay, and my mean is 2.175, and I'm not doing all those decimals. So 2 plus 0.7, that'd be 2.7. 3.4, 4.1, and I'm going to put dots right there, meaning y'all need to do the actual decimals. And then 2 minus 0.7 is 1.3, and 13 minus 7 is what, 5? No, 6, right? So that's going to be 0.6, and then this is going to be negative 0.2 or 0.1. Okay, so that's your curve. You know the percentages. I'm not going to do the percentages. All right, let's go ahead and do the box plot. Your min is 1.4. Your max is 3.2. Mid-range is 2.3. So what's the difference between $1.40 and $2.30? 90 cents, Hubert. That's right, class. 90 cents, half of 90 cents, 45 cents, right? So 45 cents, $1.85. 45 cents here is what? 275. But y'all can't do math in your head, can you? But you can do money. Yes. What? Make sure I didn't make a mistake, because I'm going pretty fast up here. Okay, and if you want to graduate that, what's half of 45 cents? 22 cents, Hubert. So 22 cents, that'd be $1.62. You don't have to be that detailed. 22 cents here would be what? 207. 22 cents here would be 52. Y'all checking my math, aren't you? 22 cents here would be 97. Now I can draw my box plot. $1.65 in blue. $1.65, there's $1.62, so I hit the blue button, I thought I did. And then my green button is 275. And then my yellow button is 2. 2 is where? Right in here? So there's my box plot. I'm going to outline it in black. So it looks like to me, the middle is 2.3. So what kind of a curve do we have? Looks like we got a little bit skewed right. All right, now you do the curve and the box plot for the second one if you hadn't done it so far. Because I got to move that somehow. I don't know if I can move it or not. Because I haven't had training on this board. We're going to get training one day. It's a miracle. Make sure I didn't make a mistake. Y'all have the calculator. Y'all on the calculator drill team, right? So here we got 7.8. I'm just going to call that 8. 8.9, so that'll be 8.9, 9 point what? 8, and 0.9 of that would be 1 or 10.7. Check my math. 8 minus 0.9 would be 7.10, $7.10. $7.10 minus 0.9 be $6.20. Somebody help me out. $6.20 minus 0.9 is going to be $5.30. Check my math. And your percentages go in, and anything asked for the empirical rule if my numbers aren't messed up. But you would use your calculator. So you could do it easily on the Excel spreadsheet by going right here, and you could put your mean right here, and that would be 7.8. And then right here, you would do equals this number plus your standard deviation, F4, and then copy to the right. And then over here equals this number minus the standard deviation, F4, and copy that where? To the left. And see if my numbers are somewhere. My numbers are a little bit off. I think I went crazy. I think I messed up because I suck at subtraction. But anyway, you see the point. Now let's go to the box plot. Box plot. Min is 6.7. Max is 9.2. And the mid-range is what? 8. So you could do 7.95. I just did 8. You could say this is 7 if you wanted to. Oh, that's not going to leave too much to graduate. So, yeah. If you made this 7, yeah, you really don't have anything to graduate. So let's just look and see what the 7.1, yeah, 7.1 would be right in here, so that would be blue. 7.1, and then your 8.5 would be 9, so that's going to be green. 9 would be right in here, and then your yellow is 7.65. 7.65 is going to be right in here. So which one looks better? Actually, this one looks a little bit better as the normal curve than the first one. You see where you're, hopefully you see that. Box plot is very helpful, especially if you're looking at what the data is doing. You can see that the data on the first group is a little bit skewed right, where the data to the second group is a little bit more close to the normal curve, if I did everything right. Now, if you can do all of that, then you can handle the material that's on the test, at least 40% of it. How many of you have taken the test? 5 of y'all have taken the test. Mr. Paps, you don't mind communicating. How was the test? Was it what I said it was going to be? Okay. So for some of y'all that's spazzing out and hemming, don't do that. Let's take some medication or something, okay? Because you don't need to do that. If I cover it in class, I put it on the test. If I don't cover it in class and I tell you that I don't put it on the test, then chances are I don't put it on the test. All right, let's try another one. Anybody got a question on this one? Now, a lot of you are saying, well, you're not covering the question. I don't care what that question's asking because this is all I care about on the test. I'll look at the test. I'll look at the homework question. It's probably going to have A through Z, and then I'll get irritated, and then I'll quit. Okay? And I can understand that when y'all don't do it. So I'm not going to write all these numbers down. So I hope you wrote them down because we're going to go to the question and see what it says. I've answered this, like, in the future, do not show me this dialog box. Yeah. So you see what they asked? They asked for the standard deviation, the mean, the standard deviation. Based on the standard deviations, have more spread. What does standard deviation mean? Spread. So which one? The second group had more spread. I don't know what else it's going to ask. What proportion of the bond mutual bonds are within one standard deviation? We did that on the normal curve. Okay, it said what proportion. I don't remember now. I'm just going to put 3. But that's the empirical rule. 0.625. 62%. Within one standard deviation. Okay, they want you to change it into a z-score, evidently. Because we know that 34 and 34 is what? 68%. So you can't use the empirical rule there. You have to use the z-score. What proportion of stock are within one standard deviation of the mean? That's the other group. I'm not going to do that one. That's what they're asking there. So you have to change it to a z-score. But I don't ask you that on the test. I'm looking to see if there's anything pertinent to these questions that be on the test. The CV, the coefficient of variation, we don't even cover this. Standard deviation over the mean. Okay? So, standard deviation, take the standard deviation of each group and put it over the mean. Somebody do that with your calculator and give me the first group, because I'm assuming they want the first and the second group. So somebody give me 3 decimal places of the first standard deviation divided by the mean. I'll just go over here and do it, because y'all not going to communicate with me. So equals the standard deviation divided by the mean. Y'all check to see if that's what y'all got. And then down here equals the standard deviation divided by the what? Mean. So write that down for your, looks like to me the second group is lower, because I think the second group is your better group. So 0.308, write that down, 0.308 and 0.116. 0.308 and 0.116. 0.308 and 0.116. Again, will you have everything? If you do everything I told you on the problem, then the rest you can find. Oh my Lord. Based on the correlation, the coefficient of variation, which one's the first group? Bond mutual, so the stock mutual, it does have a little bit more spread. No, it's the first one. Whatever. Now what do they want to do? What is this?
A second problem.
Oh, they give you a second problem in a problem. Yep. That's a bunch of bull crap. What do they want you to find?
Basically the same thing. It's 2 questions.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. Okay, I'm not going to go through the second one. I think y'all can handle it now. But just remember that I think this is probably the biggest question you had. The coefficient variation is the standard deviation over the mean. Write that down. You're not going to be tested on that. All right, let's go to another one. I want to see if there's another test question. Oh gosh. All right, I'm going to delete those 3. Delete, 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 delete. They're all the same. This is number 10. 3.229, number 10. Is it checkoffs? Okay. This is a test question. All right, so let's do this one. Scores of an IQ test have a bell-shaped curve with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 10. So that means draw the what? Draw the curve. So go ahead and draw the curve. Anybody printed those curves out yet? I figured, oh, somebody's done printed them out. Good. I figured there'd be one person at least. The rest of y'all, I know it's a lot of work. You have to hit print, and then you have to print several copies. So I know that's a lot of work. So we got 100, 110, 120, 130, 90, 80, 70, 0.15, 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13. Good gracious, what happened? Somebody pass out. Too much information. All right, so what's between 80 and 120? So let's take our handy dandy. Now make sure they don't say Z-scores or standard order. They don't say standard, right? Standard scores, they don't. So this is empirical rule. Make sure, because they'll get you on the test. They might use the standard score. And if they use standard score, you got to use Z-scores. So 80 and 120. 80 and 120. So what is that added up?
95.
90 what?
95.
Of course, 2 standard deviations. You're right. Thank you. 95. So 95 is that. Now they're saying 70, less than 70. So I'm going to take my less than 70 and greater than 130. And of course that would be 0.3. So that's going to be 0.3. And then this is greater than 130. So I'm going to use another color. And greater than 130, is that what it said? That would be this area right here, 0.15. So that's a test question. See, I try not to make the test difficult. You've done the homework. To me, the homework is the mountain, and the test should be just what did you learn from the homework? To me, and maybe I'm thinking backwards. I don't know. Next question. 3.1, 37/13. 37/13. I'm looking to see what type of question this is. It looks like to me this is just mean, median, mode. So we'll do this one. As long as I cover chapter 3, that's all that matters because that's 80% of your test. So I'm going to do StatCrunch. What the heck? StatCrunch must be on vacation. What's happened is the Russians have infiltrated. All right, take a minute or two. Are they in order? Yep. Take a minute or two and do that. Mr. Ramsey, you probably had to tell your dad twice that I was your teacher, didn't you? He probably thought I was janitor here, didn't he?
No,
Huh?
he taught here from the Hannah presentation, I think that you guys did.
Oh, you mean he was there?
Yeah,
Well, why didn't you come talk to me?
because you skirted out the back.
I wasn't supposed to be. I did that for a favor. The person that was supposed to do it was sick. And I had to go. My son was in the parking lot. You know, DSS was there watching him. He didn't want to come in, so I sure didn't want him to get kidnapped or beat up, so. Well, I hated I didn't get to see him. I bet it's been 30 years since I seen your dad. I got a picture of him and me on the football team on my Facebook page. He was a senior and I was a junior, I think.
I thought you were older than him.
No, he's older than me. Dang, did I look that rough? I guess I don't know about chronological age. I mean, he was in the 12th grade and I was in the 11th grade. But their farm is right behind our farm, so at that time their farm was. Known him ever since we were in elementary school. Y'all already done? Oh, some of y'all on the calculator drill team, aren't you? Well, I tell you what, let's go. Dang old, put that calculator to work. There we go. Dang old Wabbit EMU. Stat. Edit. Let me mess this up now. 25. 35. Using a calculator with a mouse is just about painful. 40, 50, 50, come on, 50. Have to get that mode in there. Mode is worthless. 55, 65, and 75. And now we hit enter, we hit dang old stat, calculate, first variable statistic, it defaults to L1, you just go down to calculate and write down that information. All you care about is the mean, which is 50, the SX, which is 14.33 or 14.34, but write down 3 or 4 digits in case they ask you to type in a certain amount of digits. And then let's go down to the 5-number summary. So write the 5-number summary down. You're going to have to figure your mid-range so you can draw your box plot, because your box plot is really not going to be that detailed on your calculator, so I don't know if you'll be able to tell very much. We'll do it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go to stat plot, which is second, y is equal. And I'm going to turn hit enter on. And I'm going to go down to box plot, the second box plot. Well, I thought I was. There, hit enter. And graph. Probably not going to show up, so hit zoom. and I think it's called statistic. Yeah, which is 9. And there you go. Now, if you need to find your numbers, what do you hit? Trace, Hubert. That's right, class. And there's your 5-number summary. You feel good about yourself? Let's see what the current. Let's see what the
current temperature of 62 degrees Fahrenheit.
62. That means we're going to have a snowstorm tomorrow.
And the low is 53 degrees Fahrenheit.
And then a Sharknado. Can y'all believe we had a monsoon, a tornado, and a snowstorm, and then we went up to 60 degrees the next day? It's global warming is what it is. Global warming and the Russians.
Before that, it was 70.
Yeah.
Like 3 days.
We're all going to die in 12 years. Question. All right, that covers a lot of 3.1. Let's look at let's see if there's any simple ones I can go over right quick, because I covered this one. I already did this one. This one is y'all probably have sent, okay, that one don't even come up. That one must be really messed up. Okay, we'll just skip that one. A lot of y'all, I have noticed, okay, something's totally wrong now. Probably they logged me out again. But anyway, we'll call it a day today. You are able to go in and finish your homework tonight, and hopefully you can finish it now that we